Noche UFC just took place, and unfortunately, Jean Silva, who I picked to win in the main event, was knocked out in the second round by spinning elbow. Now, we're going to get into that fight and the rest of the main card, some of the bigger moments and news that broke during the event. So stick around to hear what happened at Noche UFC. I'm Wyatt, and this is Fight Society. Okay, so we will start off with on the prelims. Very good friend of the channel has DM'd me many words of support, called me all types of names, who just this week I made a video about because he said that he had only $13 in his bank account, and that's Sedriques Dumas. And he actually got kicked in the cup. He got a low blow that he suffered from Zachary Reese in his fight at Noche UFC, and he was stretchered out, if you see right here.
My right ball.
I know, man, I know.
I cannot feel it.
All right,
I cannot get up right now, bro.
So how's he going to get out of the octagon?
He said he cannot get up, and he ended up getting stretchered out. Said, I can't feel this. I can't feel my right ball. That comment's fucking hilarious. Now he's going to rob someone. Jesus Christ. Sedriques Dumas, no contest with Zachary Reese. That sucks. You hate when you put in a whole training camp, especially, you know, on a big stage like Noche UFC. For Zachary Reese and him, you put in a lot of work into a training camp, and it gets cut short. Well, that was like 20 seconds into the fight that happened, or maybe a minute, and neither of them got started. Kind of a bummer because I was excited for that fight. One of the bigger moments on the card, Santiago Luna, 21 years old, filled in on short notice. Rob Font lost his opponent, Raul Rosas. David Martinez got pulled up to the co-main event, and so they signed and gave Santiago Luna, 21 years old, a short notice debut at Noche UFC from Mexico, 21 years old. First round KO against Quang Lee in his UFC debut. That's fucking sick. Dana said that he thinks the next big Conor McGregor level of star is out of Mexico, and it very well could be this kid. Spoke English very well, also spoke Spanish, got a massive, massive pop from the San Antonio crowd. This kid, if he actually is well-rounded and puts together some wins, this would be a massive star in the bantamweight division. And it feels like the divisions that have stars just keep getting fed stars, like bantamweight, lightweight, welterweight. I feel like there's just a surplus of really good fighters with personality and stories that we like. And then other weight classes that are lacking, like heavyweight, just stay lacking. We don't get any breakthroughs. We get Ante Delia, who's not even that big of a star. He gets a win in his debut. We move on to Alex Hernandez, now on a 5-fight win streak after knocking out Carlos Diego Ferreira in the second round. He also KO'd Chase Hooper less than a month ago. Nasty KO, and he called out Michael Chandler, which I think is a great call out. That would be fireworks. Alexander Hernandez, Brandon Royval, a lot of those guys that were at Factory X in Denver are now training as a small team together, and they're having a lot of success. Brandon Royval just signed a new deal with the UFC. Alex Hernandez KOs Chase Hooper and CDF within a month. He's got to get a top 15 guy, and Michael Chandler's ranked like 12th right now. So that makes sense. Or Benoit Saint-Denis, something like that. Good call out. Michael Chandler's a great call out, great matchup. I would like to see that fight for sure. Quick break. If you're loving this video and you want more from Fight Society, click that join button down below to become a channel member today, where you'll get access to members only live streams, behind the scenes vlogs, and all the unfiltered stuff that we don't post to the main channel. Back to the video. And from there, we had Kelvin Gastelum, who got talked about a lot this week. He missed weight by 5 pounds. He came in at 190 for a middleweight fight. And he looked like shit from a physical standpoint. Like he looked like a bag of milk. But he got a win over Dustin Stoltzfus. 30-27 on 2 cards, 29-28. He landed the bigger shots. Stoltzfus was intimidated, in my opinion. But on the bright side, for Kelvin Gastelum, at least he's not going to get cut because he's missed weight at welterweight, at middleweight. He's looked like shit a lot lately. Many people are saying that it's because of his girlfriend that he is with. Many people are saying that that is why he's not as focused on fighting and missing weight recently. So you guys let me know what you think about that. Does Kelvin Gastelum's girlfriend have him distracted from fighting? But he got the win, saved himself from getting cut for sure. If he would have lost to Dustin Stoltzfus, who I think is 3-5 in the UFC, 3-6 now, something like that, he would have gotten cut for sure. He saves himself of getting cut and gets a win. And then from there, Jared Gordon got finished by Rafa Garcia, and it was a great fight that I thought Jared Gordon was on his way to potentially winning. I couldn't tell if it was shooting in for a double leg or trying to throw a jab to the body, but he was coming down to change levels on Rafa Garcia, and he just ran into a right hand, got dropped, got beat up, and then put into a choke, escaped the choke, and then got TKO'd. It was a really, really bloody scene to end that fight. Jared Gordon's a dog. He's got an iffy UFC record. I think he's about 500 in the UFC. Of course, he got knocked out by that Bobby Green headbutt, and he lost the fight to Paddy Pimblett that he should have won. Jared Gordon's a fucking dog, and I have a ton of respect for him, but he came up short in this fight. And moving on from there, we had the co-main event, David Martinez, who was supposed to be fighting Quang Lee, who then got replaced by Santiago Luna. David Martinez in the co-main event against number 9 ranked bantamweight Rob Font. And he performed really well. He had his dad and his sister in his corner. They said that he did a bunch of kickboxing tournaments growing up. And you could tell because he had that light on his feet, finishing combos with kicks, throwing multiple kicks in a row. That looks like somebody who has had a lot of striking competition. And he was faster, hit harder, and frankly was just a step ahead of Rob Font for the entire fight. And deservingly so, he won. And Dan Miragliotta let Rob Font take a lot of shots after the bell. And Rob Font, of course, he's older. He's probably towards the end of his career. He's in his late 30s. This is what happens. Sometimes, most of the time, when these unranked guys get thrown really, really high, or low-ranked guys get thrown really, really high, they get beat badly. But Martinez, one of the few exceptions, he actually went toe-to-toe. He did the Max Holloway point at the ground with Rob Font, and Rob Font kind of bitched out. David Martinez, he's going to be in the top 10 at bantamweight. Should have been Raul Rosas' spot, but fuck it. I mean, book Raul Rosas and David Martinez for that spot, or book Rosas against Font again, because it was a pretty good fight, and I think it's approachable for Raul Rosas. So shout out David Martinez. Great fight. He's going to be a problem at 135. So we move on to the main event. A lot of beef headed into this one, near fights before actual fight night during the week. And this fight was all over the place. Jean Silva got absolutely dominated and 10-8'd in the first round. I thought he could have gotten stopped at a couple points where he was mounted getting beat on, but he got that, got his arm under the leg of Diego Lopes and kind of went out the back door, was able to survive that round. And then he started mounting a lot of offense in round 2. And similar to like what Alex Pereira has done when he got knocked out by Izzy, some fighters, they smell blood in the water and they get so fucking reckless. Spinning shit, hands down, charging forward, not calculated, chin up in the air, and they get clipped. And that's what happened. Jean Silva was honestly hurting Diego Lopes in that second round. I think relatively close to a finish, but not really going for it there. I think he was really close to a finish, but I think he was really just trying to put a stamp on the second round to make sure he won that round after getting 10-8'd, and he fucking walked into a spinning elbow, which he threw a bunch of. It ended up coming back to bite him. He got overzealous. He got spinning elbowed, got KO'd. It is what it is. And of course, they didn't like each other before the fight, but here they are. Jean Silva busted up really badly, really, really badly, but all respect, and I appreciate that. And I think they could run this back. I genuinely feel that they could run this back as like a co-main event of a pay-per-view. Fuck it. Make it the co-main event to Lerone Murphy and Volkanovski in December. If you can't get a really, really big name co-main event, do these guys for 5 rounds, because Jean Silva was starting to take over that fight. And I'm not trying to glaze the fighting nerds here, but Jean Silva was starting to take over that fight. I think he was going to run away with it in the 3rd round and possibly get a finish. He just got stopped. He got overzealous, and I think that he'll learn a lot. I think the fighting nerds are going to bounce back just fine. I think you could run this back in like December. I don't think it was that bad of a damage for Jean Silva. And that brings me to my next point is, are the fighting nerds cooked? And I think absolutely not. Carlos Prates bounced back from his loss very well, knocked out Jeff Neal with a spinning elbow. These 3 guys have all lost in the last 2 weeks. We had Mauricio Huffy on the right, Kyle Bohallo on the left. They both lost at UFC Paris last week. And then Jean Silva obviously just lost tonight by KO. Many people are saying fraud-checked fighting nerds, and I have to come in and defend them here because they are fighting top-level guys. The only one I really can't defend is Mauricio Huffy. He just got dominated by Benoit Saint-Denis and kind of quit the second that he had any sort of adversity. And I don't even rate Benoit Saint-Denis that highly. So that's the only one that I think might be fizzling. But Jean Silva has fought and beat top-notch guys. He almost could have finished Diego Lopes there. Kyle Borralho lost to a top-level guy. Carlos Prates lost to Ian Gary, who's one of the most talented and well-rounded fighters on the planet. As much as I don't like him, you know, he's got me blocked on Instagram. He is one of the better fighters in the UFC skill-wise. Skill for skill, attribute for attribute. Ian Gary, I rate super, super highly. And so Carlos Prates lost to him, almost got him out of there, bounced back just fine with a win. I think Silva and Borralho will bounce back just fine. Huffy, like this comment says, Dagestan 2-3 years and forget, because he needs to improve a lot. But I could see Jean Silva and Diego Lopes running this back like December, January, something like that, because that was an entertaining fight. If that was a fight that would have went 4 or 5 rounds, that would have been a fight of the year candidate. It was a car crash, crazy round and a half, round and 4 minutes, whatever it was. And yeah, dude, the fighting nerds are entertaining, and Jean Silva's a freaking animal. I thought the stoppage was a little bit early anyway, but they're going to be fine. They're going to bounce back just fine, in my opinion. And a couple other announcements from the card is that International Fight Week is going to be Washington, D.C. next year for the White House. So that's cool. And then they also did a memory of Charlie Kirk. They did a tribute to him on the broadcast right before the main event. So I thought that was pretty cool. RIP Charlie Kirk. That's all I'm going to say. That sucks. Nobody deserves that. So guys, let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think of the main event of UFC Noche? What did you think of David Martinez? And what do you think is next for Diego Lopes and Jean Silva? Let me know your thoughts down below. Do you want more from Fight Society? Like and subscribe below this video and click the join button to become a channel member today to get access to behind the scenes vlogs and members only live streams.